Yeah, this is should we start?
Yes, yes. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Morning. I welcome you all. Day four of ongoing book, The Surrounded by Idiots, where author talks about the classified four different colors of people, and by understanding these colors, how we can improve our communication and how we can make our conversations a better way and communications a better way, so we can understand people and we can change according to that situations. That is what we are reading. We have read last 3 days. So last 3 days we have covered of the different colors, the four colors: red, yellow, green, and blue. So today we are going to start with that blue behavior. So I'm so excited about what author is going to talk about in this color and what are things he's going to share. I will start reading, and those who want to read next, please type your name in the chat so that we can continue. I can do the warm handover to people. We can continue reading for the next 40 minutes. Okay. Blue behavior in pursuit of perfection. Why are we doing this? What is the science behind it? The last of the four colors is an interesting fellow. You have probably met him. He doesn't make a fuss about himself, but he does keep tabs on what is happening around him. While a green will just go with the flow, a blue has all the right answers. In the background, he analyzes, clarifies, evaluates, assesses. You have met a blue if you visit someone's home and everything is organized in a particular way, clear labels and names on each hook so that the children will know exactly where to hang up the jackets. Dinner menus divided into 6 weeks intervals to ensure a balanced diet stuck on the refrigerator door. If you look at his tools, you will find that everything has its own spot and nothing is out of place. Why? A blue do it yourself guy always puts things back where they belong. He is also a a realist. He sees errors and he sees risks. He is the melancholic who closes the circle of behavior. Reserved, analytical, and detail oriented are some words you might associate with blue. Excuse me, but that's not quite accurate. We all have a friend like that. Think about it. You are sitting in a restaurant with your friends. You are discussing cats, football, or space rockets. Someone throws out of Someone throws out a random comment. It may be your red friend who claims that the Patriots have been to the Super Bowl 11 times. It can be the yellow who cheerfully claims that as a child he lived in the same block as Will Smith in West Philly. Your blue buddy clears his throat and in gentle voice says that the Patriots have actually only been to the Super Bowl 10 times, with their first appearance after the 1985 season and 8 times since 2001. And that Will Smith actually grew up in Winnefield, which is well north of the block in question, and offer walk from the lovely Centennial Arboretum. In addition, without blinking an eye, the good friend adds, it's interesting to note that in the Super Bowl program coin toss of the past 51 games, the outcome has been tails 27 times and heads 24 times. And based on the past statistics, the winner of the coin toss is slightly less likely to win the game overall. You just have to give up, boys. This guy simply knows everything. He doesn't make a big deal about it, but his way of presenting facts makes it difficult for you to call them into question. He knows where he found the info. He knows where he found the info and can go fetch the book prove it. That's the way it is with blues. They know how things stand before they open their mouth. They have Googled, read the owner's manual, and checked the dictionary, and afterwards they present a report in full. But an important thing to note, if the question doesn't come up, it is unlikely that your blue buddy will say anything on the subject. He has no need to tell everyone about what he knows. Of course, a blue doesn't know everything. No one can. But you can usually bank on the fact that what he says is correct. Blue people often see themselves as accurate, detail oriented, orderly, systematic, cautious, logical, quality oriented, thorough, correct, methodical, reflective, unassuming. Did you notice anything about the art above? Of course, you did. This time, I listed the different characteristics in alphabetical order, something a blue would certainly appreciate. However, I might get in trouble because I don't discuss each and every one of the characteristics individually on the subsequent pages. To all blue individuals who are reading this, who have probably jotted down a little note in the margin to go to my website to look for possible explanations for this blunder, I just want to say that I didn't mean to cause any strife. Yes, now I hand over to Anil. Over to you.
Yes. Yeah, good morning to all. It's not a big deal. It was just doing my job. How can a know it all be unassuming? It's impressively modest to avoid making a fuss, even if you know everything. It's rare that a wholly blue person would feel the need to stand on the rooftop or to toot his own horn in order to make it clear to the world who the real expert is. It's usually sufficient that you, the blue, are clear about who knows best. There are downsiders to this modesty. More than once, I have stood in the middle of a crowd of people as we all try to puzzle through a problem together. On one such a occasion, a blue came forward after 2 hours and casually pointed out the answer. For him, it was never really a problem at all. He knew a things or two, but because blue often miss the big picture, they don't always act immediately. I asked him why he didn't say anything 2 hours earlier, and like a typical blue, he said, "Well, you never asked." It would be easy to feel aggravated by such a comment, but at the same time, I understand him. It's more my problem than his that he was not invited to join the discussion. He knew that he knew the answer, and that was good enough. There's also no need to cheer, applaud, or call a blue up to the podium when he is done something tremendous in an amazing way. Sure, it doesn't really do any harm to cheer. He will just nod, accept the praise and the prize check, and then return to his desk, where he will continue working on the next project. But he may well wonder what the fuss was really all about. He was only doing his job. Excuse me, but where did you read that? And what edition was it? A blue can rarely get too many facts or have too many pages of fine print. People say that God is in the details. And I can imagine that it was Blue who first said that. No details is too small to be noticed. Cutting corners is simply not an option for a Blue. Hold up. You might say not keeping track of every single tiny details is not really the same thing as cutting corners, but if you ask a Blue, it is. Not having full control is the same thing as not having any control at all. What do we get by cutting corners? How can you possibly justify it? It doesn't work like that. Tell a blue that he can ignore the details of the new contract and skip the last 30 paragraphs. There's nothing important in that bit, and he will stare at you very attentively and wonder about your mental capabilities. As usual, he won't necessarily say anything, he will just completely ignore what you said. He would rather burn the midnight oil checking all the facts of the case than miss the slightest detail. A few years ago, I tried to sell a leadership program to the CEO of a company in the packaging industry. He was blue. There was no doubts. There was no doubting that his emails were long-winded and little dry. And for our first meeting, he had set aside 50 minutes, not an hour, not three quarters of an hour, but 50 minutes. There was a reason for this. After the meeting, he would have lunch, and the dining room was 8 minutes away, plus a visit to the gents for about 2 minutes. A 50 minutes meeting would get him there right in time. The first time we met, he deposited me in a specific chair by a specific corner at the visitor's desk. He didn't ask if I had any difficulty getting there, which I did. The address was totally impossible. He offered neither coffee nor tea. He didn't smile when he greeted me. He examined my business card very carefully. After going through the company's needs, I explained that I would go back to my office to put a code together. Once back at my desk, I brooded about how I should go about it. Normally, my proposals were 10 to 12 pages long, but I knew that wouldn't be sufficient in this case. Instead, I put my nose to the grindstone and wrote every 35 pages. I mailed a hard copy of the code to him, since for a blue the written and printed word means much more than the spoken or digital. After a week or so, I followed the whole thing up with a phone call. They were interesting ideas, the CEO said, but he was ready to go further. Could he now get the full quote? What he actually said was, is there any more material? I remember scratching my head. In my opinion, I had described the program rather well in the proposal. Each stage had an agenda, a clear goal, and a defined purpose. I had given some background information, references, and citations. As a seller, you can't give up, so I was back at it, adding every detail I could think of. The second time, I put together at least 20, 85 pages, each item broken down into 2 hour interval, even more background, sample exercises, analyze tools, templates, the works, details on level that would have made a yellow throw up. Pleased with myself, I sent over the whole caboodle. It took several weeks before I heard from the CEO. I asked if he was ready to make a decision, and he asked, is there more material? Well, this time he wanted to come to my office. For 90 minutes, we sat on the same side of the table in the conference room at my office and went through the table of the content in the proposal. He has drawn up the general terms and condition, read the fine prints on legal paper, and each section was full of questions and notes. Afterwards, he said with a totally expressionless face that it was the best meeting he had been at for a long time. But what he really wondered was, is there any more material? I sent him off and sat down for a while and pondered. More material? No problem. I shared the whole training folder. This was before e learning and virtual classrooms. At least 300 pages covering every 15 minutes session during the 15 days of training in 5 different stages of leadership. This was all the material there was, even with the information about when copy breaks should be slotted in. Exactly what questions should be asked of the individuals during training, how the room should be furnished, the works I can certify. There were no gaps. I thought that if I took all this and ramped it down his throat, he would be satisfied at last. After a month, he asked if there was any more material. There was not. A common misconception is that blues are unable to make a decisions, but that's not the case. It was not that the CEO was pushing the decision into sometimes in the future or that he couldn't decide. He simply had no need to decide. For him, the process leading up to the decision was significantly more interesting, and he
Okay.
just
Thank you,
wondered.
Anil.
Yeah.
Anilji, can we hand over to
Yes.
Anjali? Anjali, you may start from
Yes,
here.
yes. Thank you, Rajesh. And he just wondered if there was any more material. Why some people have to sleep on things for so long, you wonder if they have gone into hibernation. The preceding example also illustrates another important characteristic blue behavior. They are generally very cautious. They often think safety first. Where a red or yellow would take a wild chance, a blue will hold off and consider everything one more time. There may be more factors to take into account, right? You need to get to the bottom of things before you act. This can manifest itself in various ways. It's a fact for the blue, the trip is more important than the destination. Exactly the opposite of a red. Obviously, this amount of caution can result in no decisions being made at all. It also means that blues rarely take any major risk. Never taking any risk ensures a predictable life. We can probably agree on that. I am not saying anything about how exciting and inspiring it would be. I'm just stating the facts. Sometimes a blue can even completely refrain from starting something because he can't assess the risk. I once met a blue seller who had trained as an engineer. His motto was that the best deal is often the one you didn't make. Risk assessment is a complex thing, and who knows what dangers are lurking out there. A blue generally solves everything by creating advanced systems that manage the possible risk that may arise. They set 3 alarm clocks. They leave 2 hours early when one would be enough. They check and recheck the children's backpack before school in the morning, even though they packed them the night before and no one has touched the backpacks during the night. They triple check that the keys are in their pocket, and of course they are. Where else would they be? The benefit of this are evident. Blues won't be taken aback by unexpected events in the same way others would be. And in the long run, they save a lot of time. It doesn't matter if it's easier, it's still not right. Things can't be allowed to go wrong. That's all there that's all there is to it. Quality is all that matters. When a blue individual thinks his work runs the risk of being shoddy or low quality, things come to a standstill. Everything must be checked out. Why has the quality declined? Running the risk of generalizing, I would say that a fair number of engineers have distinct blue traits: accurate, systematic, fact oriented, and quality conscious. I can't know for certain, but I would imagine that Toyota, the Japanese car manufacturer, probably has a good proportion of blue engineers among its employees. They have a policy that you must always ask why 5 times to ensure quality and get to the heart of the issue. I would say that this is a typical blue approach, in addition to the Japanese mentality, which is very long term and rather blue in expression. So let's say someone discovers an oil stain on the floor. A red approach might be to lambast the person closest to him and then order him to mop up the stain. A yellow sees the stain and then forgets it, but 2 days later is surprised when he slips on it. The green also sees the stain and feels a little bit of guilt because it poses a problem and everyone is ignoring it. A blue would ask, why is there an oil spill? The answer may be that a gasket is leaking. This answer, of course, is unsatisfactory for a blue. Why is the gasket leaking? Because it's poor quality. Why do we have poor quality gaskets in our factory? Because the purchasing department was told to save money. We bought cheap gaskets instead of tight sealed gaskets. But who asked us to save money and compromise on quality? This is the way he goes on. Maybe the problem will resolve itself. Maybe we'll get a report of what went wrong, but nothing is done to fix the problem. In the end, the blue solution might be to review our purchasing strategies instead of just mopping up the oil on the floor. My point is this: a blue is prepared to dive deep to get everything exactly 100% correct. Blues argue that if they are going to do something, they must do it correctly, and vice versa. If a task isn't worth being done properly, then it's not worth doing at all. Furthermore, because blues usually find it difficult to lie, they will always point out the defects they uncover, even defects that may reflect poorly on them. I clearly remember discussions my parents had when I was a child. We moved from time to time, and usually our house had to be sold with everything that entailed. Dad, the engineer, would of course do all the work himself, and he managed the viewings personally. My mom was always upset that he began each viewing by pointing out all the flaws and shortcomings of the house. It leaked here and there, and some paint had flaked off behind the sofa. Why are you telling them that? My mother wondered. Because this and that is wrong, Dad replied. Sure, but do you have to tell that the prospective buyers? Now they may never want to buy the house. He didn't understand the problem. As a very honorable and honest person, he couldn't hide the faults he knew were there. He could live with the fact that we really made a huge profit on those deals. He had been honest about the house because that's how it should be done. If the trail doesn't match the map, there's something wrong with the trail. Logical and rational thinking is critical to a blue. Out with all the feelings as much as possible and in with logic. Of course, blues can't turn off their feelings completely. No one can. But they like to say they use rational arguments when making decisions. They value logical thinking highly, but they can very easily become depressed when things don't go their way. And depression has nothing to do with logic and everything to do with feelings. Few people can repeat the same task an infinite number of times in exactly the same way like blues can. They have a unique ability to precisely follow instructions to the letter without questioning, provided they understood and approved of it in the beginning. How do they do this without getting bored or careless? Well, it's logical. If a particular method works, why change it? While a yellow or red would find new ways of doing something simply because they were bored, a blue repeats the same thing time and time again. Consider how a blue would put together a piece of furniture from IKEA. If there is a manual, then of course you have to read it thoroughly before you start. Reds, confident that they can easily do this, start screwing and putting together the various parts without even looking to see what's in the rest of the box. Yellows tear up everything, exclaiming that it's going to be great fun to get the furniture in place. They live in the future and can already see a clear picture of the new cabinet on the right wall of the bedroom with grandma's tablecloth and a lovely vase of tulips on it. They put each part together a little bit haphazardly without much effort. They will screw in a few screws where it looks logical, only to skip to another part of the cabinet. A green DIY do it yourself guy leans the enormous box against the wall and has a coffee break. There really isn't a hurry. Why does a blue do? What does the blue do? He reads the instructions twice, examines what everything looks like, and confirms that the different pieces of the new cabinet match the pictures in the instructions. With a slightly damp, not too wet cloth, he carefully wipes down all the different parts because they are likely to be dusty. He tallies the number of screws in the box so that he will not be surprised at the end. If anything is missing, and if there are any parts left over, he may very well take the whole thing apart again. It may take a little extra time for a blue to put together his cabinet, but once it's done, you can be sure that it will stand forever.
Thank you. Thank you, Anjali. Let's hand over
Yes.
to Deepa ma'am.
Deepaji.
Good morning. Okay. The devil is in the details. A few years ago, I wanted to renovate the patio in my yard because I like working with my hands. In contrast to just talking each day, I thought I would do the job myself, or at least part of it. My dad, well, over 70 at the time, was going to leap out. I'm sorry, was going to help out because he knew that I was pressed for time. Easier said than done. To provide a sturdy foundation, we were going to lay down gravel. Dad arrived with all the gravel. He had his own wheelbarrow with him, specially designed. He always used for similar purposes. He didn't understand why I was standing there with my regular shovel. Everyone knew that you had to use special shovels for things like this. The truck came and dropped a heavy pile of gravel in the driveway. I imagined a few days of shoveling before me, and to be honest, it made me feel a little tired, but I was still ready to take on the challenge. My old dad, he picked up a bit of gravel between his fingers, smelled it, felt it, and assessed its quality. After grunting somewhat, which I interpret as approval, he began to assess the pile itself. He measured the height of the mold with his hand. He placed how large the circumference was. I asked him what he was doing. He didn't answer, but mumbled numbers under his breath. 180 high, 5 meters in circumference. Gradient. After 30 seconds, he said there was between 8.75 and 9.25 cubic meters of gravel in the box.
Deepa ma'am,
That it
we
was
are.
actually 9
It
cubic
is get,
meter. How I knew that? Sorry?
okay. It is getting disconnected in between. I don't know. We There's a lagging in speaking. Okay, you can continue. Continue.
Okay, 1 second. I'll see my internet connection. Okay, I'll just see once more. If it is disconnecting, then please
Yeah,
stop
yeah.
me.
Sure,
Someone
sure,
else can take over. Okay?
sure,
Mm.
sure, sure.
Dad asked rather skeptically how I knew that. I pointed. It's written on the truck, I said. Dad was mildly impressed. I asked if he wanted to count each piece of gravel individually. He didn't deem that to be necessary. For us, we walked around the site and packed and pressed, racked the gravel, smoothing everything until he thought that everything was in order. He used a level plumb line, water, the means, all the means at his disposal, so that nothing would go wrong. The gravel needed to be laid at an incline of exactly 1 centimeter per meter. Why? You asked. It says so in the book because he was a construction engineer. He knew the book by heart. 1 centimeter per meter. Exactly. Who knows what terrible consequence would result if you are careless about that? Consider the difference between 1 centimeter and roughly 1 centimeter. The former is precise, the latter is imprecise. Roughly 1 centimeter, it would be up to 2 centimeters. If things went bad, from 1 centimeter to 2 centimeter gradient, that's a difference of less than 1 centimeter. The funny thing about this story is not really the event itself, but what happened when Dad read about it in the first edition of the book. He argued that that's not how it really happened. He corrected the story on several points and claimed that the truck had held 12 cubic meters, not 9. He also insists that he is not purely blue and there might be just something in that. He's like that with everything at home. If there are any technical questions about a television, a car, a microwave oven, or a cell phone, out comes the manual. He always replies, it says here that. Why do you think they wrote this stuff if it is not meant to be done that way? How do you reply to that? How do you argue with the instruction manual? It's impossible to find arguments that a true blue will accept. My dad will also stop at a red light in the middle of the night, even if he is the only one with 10-mile radius, because that is the way you do it. The great value of this approach is obvious. He will never be fooled. He will always get what he paid for. It gives him an inner peace because he knows he has checked everything out very accurately. If you know any blues, I'm sure you will agree with me. Under normal circumstances, they are very calm and balanced, probably because they keep tabs on everything. Okay, thank you. Would anyone else like to take over?
Yes. Yeah, thank you, Ripa ma'am. Hand over to Suman, please. You can start from here.
Yes, thank you, Rajesh. Silence is golden. Introvert. Enough said. I could stop there. Many blues I have met don't say a single word unnecessarily. That is just the way it is. Does that mean they have nothing to say? Don't they have opinions about things? Not at all. They, scroll up please. They are just very, very introverted. Blues are the calm, stable individuals, the ascetics equated with the sea, the element of water. Quiet on the outside, but under the surface, anything could be happening. Introverted doesn't mean silent, it means active in the inner world. But the effect of this is quite often quiet. In general, my advice is to listen attentively when blues do actually talk, because they have usually thought through what they say. So, why are they so silent? Among other things, it is because they, unlike yellows, don't feel the need to be heard. Sitting in a corner and not being seen or heard makes no difference to them. They are observers, spectators more than central characters. They can find themselves at the edge of a group when they observe and record everything that is said. And don't forget this, according to a blues values, Being silent is something positive. If you have nothing to say, keep quiet. Conclusions on blue behavior. Do you know everything about blues? Have you identified some blues in your life? Bill Gates and Albert Einstein both used their attention to detail and meticulous nature to build their success. We have also Sandra Day, O'Connor, and Condoleezza Rice. And of course, from the fictional world, Mr. Spock and Star Trek is the perfect blue, all logic, rationality, and intellect, even if a few of the jokes slip past him. Yes, chapter is over. Do we have to go ahead with eighth chapter?
Yeah, 1 minute. Suman, please. Let me check how many pages are remaining. Already time is 7:40. If it's a small one, we can continue. Otherwise, we can start tomorrow. Please, 65. Oh, okay, I have tried. We wouldn't be able to complete if we start. Then we have to stop in between. Almost around 13, 14 pages has gone. Okay, I think it's a long one. We can continue later.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Oh, still, oh, no, how many pages is this? 65, 83, 18. Oh,
Almost 37 pages.
almost 30 some pages. So then it will
Yes.
take some then 2 days to complete it. Out of okay, no one is completely perfect. That is what more important. I think very interesting one. With this now today, in last 3 days we have completed all four different colors and the different experiences. Okay, let's discuss about what we have read today, the blue. Now I just want to ask you all. Who all can connect with that? Okay, hey, I think I would be the red person. I think the blue person, which we have read. Anyone can relate with that? Do we have any blue person in this meeting today? And how you call it as you are the blue person?
Yes, I have in my family many blue persons. My
Okay.
brother is a big one. But I was relating all the qualities to him as I was going through the chapter.
Is there anyone army background or
No, no, no,
all that
engineering, engineering.
engineering? Oh, it's still engineering. Okay, good. That I think generally, I think the teaching and then the army background, the people are I think more organized and more disciplined. Yes, I think we have something here from Simi. Yeah, Simi, over to you. What would you like to share about today's reading?
Rajesh, to be very honest, such books are really not read by me at all, and I was like totally
Uh-huh.
perplexed. I was not even understanding the context behind it. Three
Okay.
days I was not here. I mean, this is my day one here. So I think I have to be very regular to understand. I mean, I was literally feeling, okay, don't I understand anything? What is this happening? And in between, maybe I got even diverted, deviated in other things as well. So I should really concentrate to for better understanding.
No worries, no worries. I think you have
Is
chance.
this
I think
kind of a
after
self-help book? Is this that way?
yeah, it is kind of a self. We cannot say the self-help book. This is kind of the communications and the people understanding of people
Ah, okay,
kind of
psychological.
books.
Ha, ha,
Yeah.
okay. Ha.
We read, I think every meeting, every after the session, we are sending the summary. If you read that
Mhm,
summary, you can correlate with that. Even if you are not able to join that session, if you read
mhm,
that, if you spend 5-10 minutes for the reading the summary, you will be able to cover it up. Okay, what we have covered, and even be if please you read that summary session shared by each individual. That also we are
mhm.
sharing in the group, so that will
Okay.
give you glimpse about what we have read that particular day, so that you
Okay,
can continue. Even if
understanding.
you are
Okay.
missing the morning session, you can continue with that. Okay,
Okay.
so do you have anything you want to share today's leading or today's takeaway?
Just that I need to upgrade.
Okay, no problem, no problem, no problem. Take your time, and you can go through that summary
Shamelessly, I'm
sessions.
telling this, Rajesh.
No
Okay.
problem, no problem. I know, I completely understand the thing. No
Yeah.
problem. Take your time, and if
Thank
you
you,
want to
Rajesh.
read
Yeah.
that, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
Deepa
this
ma'am.
is not recorded, right? I think afternoon
It's
sessions are
like
recorded.
it is also recorded. I will. I think I'm checking back and creating that the thumbnails and everything. I will prepare and I will share it the last 3 days and this day as well. I will share it in the by the weekend.
Is this
I
also
will.
getting
Yeah,
recorded?
yeah. All sessions are recorded.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, so it's the YouTube live stream. Yes, thank you, Deepa ma'am. Over to you.
Yeah. Regarding the blue people, I
Yeah,
would say both my sons have a very good shade of blue. And personally, I call such people, compulsive. They have this thing, everything has to be done perfectly the way it should be, according to the book. So they are very particular about things to be done in a certain way. Otherwise, they can't process things. So if anything is said, if anything is written, it should be done exactly the way it is. So I believe both my sons are like that.
yeah, Deepa ma'am. I think every mom would be expecting that. That
I totally don't relate to a this blue person totally at all.
okay.
Never. I'm not so into detail. Hmm. I might be a shade of yellow and a blue, maybe a tad bit like red, but never like this blue. Green, okay, little bit maybe, yellow maybe. And the people who are, that particular for detail, asking so many questions and wanting to know everything, like why. I think I get sort of irritated with such people. I don't have patience. Like, get the things done and keep moving on. What does it matter? That is my attitude. Maybe I should change that a bit. And I should have patience for such people, because once they get the things done, they are almost perfect. You don't have to check, recheck, or something is left out. Is not that. So I guess in India, most of us are like me. We are not much detail oriented. That's why we have those broken roads. Things don't work sufficiently or effectively. So maybe this was each day I'm finding the reading very interesting. Thank you, Rajesh. I can't thank you enough.
Wow,
Beautiful.
thank you so much, ma'am. I think you must be a happy mom. You all, both sons are the blue. They are organized. I think every mom would be expecting that sons.
Yeah,
They
I
are.
should take it that way. I should take it that way and not get irritated and pissed off with the questions and being so detail oriented. So yeah, I look at the brighter side now. Like I'll be the yellow person now. Yeah, I have shades of everything except the this shade, the blue shade. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's good. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, yeah. Simi, you want to share something?
Yeah, where do I get the recording, Rajesh?
I will share it. I will share it. I think I will take. Yeah, I will share it in the weekend. I will share the recordings. I have to arrange. I have to organize few things. Please, in meantime, you can go through that summary sessions. I shared every day summary of
Oh,
the reading. You can go through that. You will be able to understand last 3 days, and I will also share summary of today's session as well. Okay.
sure, sure. Thank you,
Yeah.
Rajesh.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Regarding, I think when I was reading that, when we read that the blue, sometimes at my home, I always ask my kids to be organized. Means I don't want to see something that cluttered. I think whatever they play, they don't. I don't want to see. Especially, I think I don't want to tear any note or any paper from that notebook. If someone tear that one, I go wild. And if I see some balls, the stems, or the playing items, if they're lying here and there, I go wild. Why you keep it here? Why don't you keep it that inside? Why you not organized? Because I think if I want to keep any pen, then you have to be put in the stand. If you want to keep a key, then it should be in that place. Sometimes I misplace, but most of the times I try to make it organized. I think when I was reading, I was able to relate with this. Anyone would like to share something, your experience at home or with your family members? or do you have any interesting story about
So,
you can
so
relate
Rajesh,
with that? Yes,
so
Anil.
yeah, Rajesh ji. So normally, I am not a blue person, but we
Okay.
as a red, yellow, and green person, we aspire to have qualities of blue. Like they are organized, they are logical, they present the things with the facts. So we aspire to have these qualities, and we see these are the very good qualities of blue person, and we expect that we should also do that when we start our day, that the bed should be in organized manner, the things should be placed at the right place, where they belong. So these things we aspire to do, and we see that when we all are organized, we organize all the things goes well. And I'm a finance person, so and I'm expected in my professional life that whenever I present the facts, I present the facts with the numbers, that about what am I speaking, that should be presented with the facts, that it is coming with the, so that's way the blue is, the qualities of the blue, that the everyone should have the two qualities that I want to take from the blues, that they present the things with the facts, and that they organize the things. So these two qualities, I am a green person, so if I have, then the it will add value in my speaking, in my how I behave with the people, how I present the things. So these are the two qualities that I aspire to have.
Thank you, Anil. Thank you. I'm so happy to hear that. I think you are the green person, and I want to acquire these two qualities and the two character things. That is what a big takeaway from this reading the book, right? If you ask me, what is the learning or what is the takeaway from this book, we can understand. Okay, this is what I can see something good in it. How I can acquire. If you add this one, some good qualities, something in your day to day life, that's okay. That's we are done with that. The purpose, the time we have spent reading all these things, waking up in the morning and joining the group reading. Yeah, that is a major motto of doing this. Sometimes the blues are very organized and systematic, but sometimes they are they're a little worry about if there is something some mistake happens, they worry about it. Wait, it shouldn't have happened. I think it shouldn't be in this way. And sometimes they miss the moment. Sometimes we make mistakes, accept it. The blue, I think they will not be able to accept the mistakes, and they worry about all those things. If it is a take as yellow, it's okay, leave it. Let me, it's a part and parcel of the learning or the day-to-day activities. Let's move to something next. But that the blue will take it something, it will take some time to process and come out, it will take some time. I think that the life, or that the cheerful, the missing the life moments, they might be missing out. Anyone? Anyone have any thoughts about?
Yeah, I would
Yes.
like to say, Rajesh.
Yeah.
See, what you said now, that yeah, when blues they are focusing on perfection. See, it happens in my house most of the time. I have this trait of perfectionism, and one of my child is green and other is yellow. So the yellow would say, "Why do you want this to be perfect?" I could relate that example was given, that green stain, a stain on the on this on the floor, what the author has quoted. So this really happens in my house also, and we end up arguing that if I need that cleanliness, or I want that the thing should be kept on place, my child would say, "Why do you think that way? It's okay now. I will do it later on, or it could be done. Why is it such an important thing?" So it happens like we end up arguing. And
Yeah.
this, as a teacher, when I was offered a teaching job in my kids' school, also, my daughter said, "You don't become our teacher. You teach any class, but please don't come to our class." So that
That
is the way. Yeah. So I said, okay, I'll not join, because I was offered the senior classes. And so it's really difficult for a perfectionist to handle others and work in a team. But I feel that all the colors, I could relate with other colors as well, that I have all the traces of each color, and no one is perfect. As in numerology also, na, we say every number personalities are there, like zodiac personalities are there, sun signs and moon sign also define a personality. So no one is completely one color or one number or one shade. It is always a mixture. But one, we can, yes, attribute to one color which is dominating in our personality. And for me, I can relate myself with red and blue. But yeah, but for the yellow thing, my child is there and she is so much like talkative, and she would just make the things, make the atmosphere light. The other one is so calm. It is like a mixture in our family, and but being a blue person, or being having that traits now of perfection, or keeping the things organized, it really becomes a challenge when living with a mixed people. So that is the thing I experienced, and I could relate it with today's reading. That's all.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Anjali. You shared about, I think, what your daughter said. Don't bring it up. What you are the profession.
Yes.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
sometimes we do that. I think, whatever do we do profession, especially the teachers, where the teaching field, how they control the school, the same thing they will try to do it in the at home, especially the army background. That is what I asked when I come when we started this session. I asked those who all are in the teaching and the army background. Those people they try to bring it to the control and try to incorporate professional things at home as well. As of course, I think if we continue with the one traits, that is maybe I think the life won't be that much interesting. Mix up something. That's what the author also says. We just mix up everything and the one color, I think dominant color. By reading this book, we will be able to understand. So now when we go and interact with someone, by example, if you go to office today, now if you talk to someone, I think whatever we have read last 4 days, it comes into mind. Okay, what this person's color? Okay, how I can change my attention? How I can change my communication according to this one? That is a learning from this book. Yes, Pranavi, I think you wanted to share something. Over to you.
Yeah, good morning to all. Yeah, I belong to blue, but I would take all the shortcuts to become blue because at my home I keep things very minimal. I just keep the basic things, that's it. And the other things and all, I'll put it in a place or I'll shift it to another house or something like that. So, because if the things are minimal, your organizing skills will be developed to higher extent, because if there are only few things, you can easily manage and you can easily organize things. So you can you can get easily connected to the blue module. And being woman, it's not that you will always be vibing at higher energy levels or something like that. So if even my energy levels are down, because I keep things minimal, it's very easy to organize things. And whenever I go outside, I buy a lot of organizers, and I really enjoy buying organizers and putting things in order. So yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Pranavi. I think you completely admit that I am blue person. I completely organized.
Yes, yes. And even
Okay.
right now, my kids are not at my home. So for 3 years, they wouldn't be there. I mean, they would be
Okay.
coming and going. So whatever the stuff is there, I have just packed it and shifted to another house. Maybe after 3 years again, I'll get back all those things to my place. And I really enjoy that emptiness at home. Only the minimal things and lot of ventilation, air, and lot of space to move around. So I really enjoy all that. So yeah, this tip may be helpful to people around. Thank you.
Good, good, good. Thanks, Pranavi, for sharing it. Yes, anyone, those who have not shared, would you like to share your thoughts? Yeah, Mansi, Suman. Yeah, good. I think in the 4 days of learning or 4 days of the reading, we understand. I think we understand. Okay, what color I have or what what is the current state. I think coming days. I think next week Monday onwards we are going to deep into this one. I think the next chapter is going to be deep, and that is where we are going to learn actual. Now we understand the color, how we
What is the
can change
next
the color.
number chapter, Rajesh?
Chapter number 8.
8.
uh,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
So this
I'm sorry,
happens
I'm
only
sorry,
during
this
the.
is
No,
no,
eight,
next
eight,
chapter is
eight.
7. Next chapter is
7. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
8.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, 7 or 8,
No,
I
no,
think.
eight is correct. No one is
8.
completed. Eight.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
7 we completed, next
Yeah.
is 8.
Yes.
uh yes, Simi, you were trying to say
So
something.
this happens only during the weekdays, is it?
Yes, this is we are reading Monday to Friday morning session, and one more session is happening afternoon, the afternoon 2 o'clock. It is Manisalvi
Okay,
is leading
okay,
that mountain issue.
okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I
Good. I think
really
we
need
had.
to attend this to really, yeah, it was very good. I mean, especially when people were sharing what was their understanding with things, and I could relate to that when they mention what it is. And I should be really present for each session, I think.
Yeah. That is the thing. Even I love the part. I think when we after this reading, the last 20 minutes, whatever we discuss, that
Mhm.
people sharing sometimes sharing a lot of insights, their experiences. It's mind blowing and good takeaway for us as well.
Mm.
That is, I am so big fan and I'm so much interested to hear from people their experiences. Okay, now we someone is time is 7:58, and we are going to end this meeting today at sharp at 8 o'clock, 1 minute before. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining today morning, and I would like to have a great weekend. And see you again Monday morning, sharp at 7 a.m., so that we can start. Thank you, Anjali. Thank you, Anil, and few people are joining in time. Please join it sharp at 7 o'clock, so that we can start reading because the tomorrow the next chapter will be the bigger one and also bigger learning as well. Thank you. Have a
Thank
wonderful
you.
day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rajesh ji.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Rajesh.
Thank you
Yeah,
all.
thank you, Rajesh ji, and thank you to all the people.
Have a
Thank you.
great day, everyone.
Yeah, bye
Thank you. Thank
bye.
you.
Happy weekend. Chalo, bye-bye.
Thank you, Rajesh.